Greetings, saints of tomorrow. When most people hear the name St. James, they think immediately of the famous apostle, the brother of John, the fiery son of thunder, the first martyr among the 12. But there was another James, a quieter figure, a mysterious leader, a man who influenced, shaped the earliest church more than almost any apostle except Peter. He is known as St. James the Less, not because he was unimportant, but because he lived in the shadow of another apostle of the same name. Yet history reveals something astonishing. This lesser-known apostle became the first bishop of Jerusalem, presided over Church's first council, wrote one of the New Testament epistles, and ultimately gave his life for Christ. In this video, we will explore the remarkable story of this hidden giant of the early church. The first question is, why is he called James the Less? The title the Less does not mean he was less holy or less important. In Greek, the phrase likely means younger, smaller in stature, or simply some other distinguishing characteristic to separate him from the other James. Scripture itself calls him James the son of Alphaeus. This small detail helps distinguish him from James the son of Zebedee, the brother of John, but his identity becomes more fascinating when we examine other biblical references. Many early church fathers believe James the Less was actually a relative of Jesus Christ. In the Gospels, he is listed among the brothers of the Lord. In Jewish culture, the term brother often refers to cousins, close relatives, or clan members. Most Catholic traditions hold that James was the cousin of Jesus, probably the son of Mary of Clopas, a woman present at the crucifixion. This would mean James grew up very close to Christ, yet Scripture gives no record of him following Jesus early in his ministry, which suggests something powerful. Like many who knew Jesus personally, James may not have fully believed early in Jesus' ministry. James the Less appears quietly in the Gospels listed among the 12 apostles. He is never quoted speaking, never recorded performing miracles, and never portrayed in dramatic scenes, and yet his silence itself reveals something about his character. He was not a public figure like Peter. He was not a fiery like James the Greater. He was not contemplative like John. He was steady, faithful, and deeply rooted in the Jewish tradition. These qualities would likely make him uniquely suited to lead the earliest Christian community. Everything changed after Easter. According to St. Paul, the risen Christ appeared personally to James. This private encounter is one of the most mysterious resurrection appearances recorded in the Scripture. Paul writes, "When he appeared to James, then to all the apostles." This moment likely marked the turning point in James's life. After his encounter, he emerged as a central figure of the church. Within just a few years, he became the most influential leader in Christians in Jerusalem. Jerusalem was the birthplace of the church. It was where Pentecost occurred, the apostles first preached, the earliest believers gathered, and at the center of this community stood James the Less. He is widely recognized as the first bishop of Jerusalem. Ancient historians describe James as extraordinarily devout. He was known for constant prayer, severe fasting, deep attachment to Jewish law, and exceptional humility. One early historian recorded that James prayed so frequently in the temple that his knees became hardened like a camel's. This earned him the nickname James the Just. One of the most important moments in early church history came around the year 50 AD. A major controversy arose. Do Gentile converts need to follow Jewish law, including circumcision? This issue threatened to divide the church. The apostles gathered in Jerusalem to resolve this dispute. Peter spoke first. Paul and Barnabas shared missionary experiences, but the final judgment came from James. As Bishop of Jerusalem, his authority was decisive. James proposed a solution that changed history. Gentile converts were not required to follow full Jewish law, but they would observe certain basic moral and ritual practices. This decision preserved unity, opened Christianity to the world, and prevented the church from remaining a Jewish sect. It was one of the most pivotal decisions in Christian history, and it was guided by James's wisdom. James the Less is traditionally identified as the author of the letter of James in the New Testament. This epistle is unique among the apostolic writings, as it focuses intensely on practical holiness. James famously writes, "Faith without works is dead." This teaching emphasizes the belief that must be lived. Christianity is not merely intellectual assent, it is transformed by a way of life. James repeatedly stressed compassion for the needy, justice for the oppressed, and condemnation of greed. He teaches that true religion is to care for the orphans and the widows in their distress. James also warns about destructive power of speech. He compares the tongue to a spark that sets a forest ablaze, or a rudder that steers a ship. His teaching remains deeply relevant today. James occupies a unique position. He was deeply rooted in Jewish tradition, yet he fully embraced the gospel. Because of this, he became the bridge figure. He helped Jewish Christians remain faithful to their heritage while welcoming Gentiles into the church. Without his leadership, early Christianity might have fractured permanently. By the early 60s AD, political and religious tensions in Jerusalem were intense. James had become widely respected even among Jews who did not accept Christianity, but some religious leaders saw him as a threat. Ancient accounts describe his martyrdom in dramatic detail. He was brought to the pinnacle of the temple in order to deny Christ. Instead, he boldly proclaimed, "The Son of Man is seated at the right hand of God." Enraged, his persecutors threw him from the temple. When he survived the fall, they stoned him. Finally, he was killed with a club. Even while dying, James prayed for his attackers. His martyrdom closely mirrored the forgiveness Christ showed on the cross. James shows the greatness of the church that does not require fame. He led through holiness, wisdom, integrity, and prayer. He reminds believers that unseen faithfulness can shape history. James endured religious tension, cultural division, hostility toward the gospel, and yet he remained steadfast. His life teaches perseverance in difficult circumstances. His epistle challenges believers today. Live what you believe, care for the vulnerable, practice humility, and pursue holiness. His message remains timeless. St. James the Less is often symbolized with a club representing his martyrdom, a book representing his epistle, and a pilgrim staff reflecting spiritual leadership. He is venerated as patron of the marginalized, protectors of persecuted Christians, and a model for faithful endurance. St. James the Less lived without dramatic miracles recorded in Scripture, without famous sermons, and without grand missionary journeys, and yet his influence shaped the church profoundly. He preserved unity, guided doctrine, and led the Christian community, and ultimately sealed his fate with martyrdom. His life remained a powerful reminder of truth. God often works through quiet, the humble, and the unseen. In a world that celebrates visibility, James teaches the holiness of hidden faithfulness. He shows that true greatness lies not in recognition, but in steadfast devotion to Christ. The story of St. James the Less invites us to ask, are we willing to serve without recognition, to lead with humility, and to live our faith through action? Because like James, we are all called not merely to believe, but to live the gospel courageously. Comment below how St. James the Less has helped you in your life. If you like what we do here, please consider joining us on Locals, linked in the description. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to be inspired by the lives of more saints.